Okay, so The Living Daylights. The time had finally come for a new Bond, James Bond. Many actors had been approached for the role. This included actor Sam Neill, you may know best from Jurassic Park, as well as British actor Timothy Dalton, who had actually been approached for the role way back in 1968 for On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and he was 25, 20, he was 20-something years old at the time.
They should have just put him in just put him in old man makeup. That would have been awesome.
But he at the time felt he was too young for the role. So now you may be thinking, well, that's who they obviously went with. Of course, I don't see what the point is, but that wasn't the case at the moment. An Irish actor we had mentioned during our For Your Eyes Only episode had caught the eyes of producers Albert Broccoli and now producer Michael G. Wilson. You may know him as Pierce Brosnan. At the time, Brosnan's show Remington Steele had been canceled, and Brosnan was free to play Bond in The Living Daylights. However, at the 11th hour, and in one interview, Brosnan says they were going to introduce him at some press conference, and then he gets a phone call, and they were literally like, "Hey, we're not canceling the show. You're gonna have to come back." And he was pretty upset by that. So Brosnan could not play James Bond, which they ended up only doing 5 more episodes. So it really was kind of It was this whole thing where they were like, oh, well, he's going to play Bond now, so maybe we should redo the show. But in doing so, he wasn't Bond. So the interest didn't really gain any interest. So therefore, they obviously went with their next choice, being Timothy Dalton, who wanted to bring the character back to its roots of him being more serious and human. This Bond was intended to be the prequel originally, but Broccoli wanted to go ahead and just keep making these movies, keep pushing forward. So they decided this story would basically be based off of the short story, The Living Daylights. This film marks the last time, a Bond film is titled off an existing Fleming story, but that obviously we know that's not until Casino Royale, many, many years later. So, rounding out the cast, we have a bunch of people's names I'm going to mispronounce. Miriam D'Abo. Abobo!
Abobo! God, I wish I had a rubber snake. Abobo!
She had gotten the role after doing multiple screen tests with potential future Bonds that included Pierce Brosnan. And then we have Yanan Krabe. He plays Georgi Kosovo. Is that how he says his name? Was he Georgi?
Koskov.
It's Georgi. Was it Georgi?
It's like Georgi, but don't even try. Just don't even try.
Georgi. I'm not drunk enough for this. So he was in The Fugitive. Nekros, who was the assassin, the milk assassin. Andres Wizzy. I'm going to screw that name up.
Wisniewski?
Nekros. They literally named a bad guy Death. It's what's his name again? General Skull and Bones. General in Star Wars.
General Grievous?
Grievous, yeah. Grievous, Nekros.
Anyway. Andres Wisniewski. You might recognize him from Die Hard. He played the ho-ho-ho, I have a machine gun guy who gets killed in the very beginning of the film.
Never would have recognized him. They put glasses on him, right?
Yeah.
They gave him the Superman approach.
Yeah, that's the same guy.
Yeah.
Cool. We've got Joe Don Baker, who plays Brad Whitaker, who you will most likely recognize him from something, but I won't say what you might recognize him from.
Don't tease me with that.
And then you may also have spied some of the new and old faces in Universal Exports, a.k.a. MI6. We have our new Miss Moneypenny, played by Carolyn Bliss, who was 25, so obviously there's a huge age change there. And finally, as Charlie already had pointed out, the only reason Charlie loves this movie and wants to put it above Goldfinger, John Rhys-Davies, or John Rhys-Davies, depending on who you ask. Someone will tell me it's either this or that.
General Gimli
plays General Pushkin. But what's interesting is the character General Pushkin was originally intended to be General Gogol, who's played by Walter Gotell.
Wait, he was just going to replace Gogol outright?
No, so they were in the script. It was going to be General Gogol. This was going to be General Gogol was going to be that character of Pushkin instead,
which would have made a lot of sense.
Yeah. So
because he's a good guy, right?
Yeah. So the actor Walter Gotell was like, I'm too old. Like he wasn't feeling good. He was sick, and so they put his part into more of a cameo at the very end of the film, and then they created this Pushkin character instead.
Dude, it would have been interesting because we have seen nothing but Gogol just banging random, like he's always banging his secretary, right? He's like, because we always say he's like M, right? We say he's M, but M would never bang Moneypenny. Like M's too much of a pro. But the Russian M is just constantly banging the help, you know? And then here it would be, oh, Gogol finally got married and he's with his wife. And then that's when Bond comes in, right? And how interesting would that have been to, because all that you're saying makes sense. Like there's that scene where he's like, sir, this is Gogol we're talking about. He's not a psychotic.
I know General Pushkin.
Do you think I don't? I've dealt with him on several occasions.
And M's like, don't you think I know that? Don't you think I've been in 7 movies with him?
Yeah, but it's not him, so they had to create this new character. And then the final piece of trivia is not really that interesting, honestly, but if you've ever seen the movie The Third Man, the Ferris wheel that Bond and Kara get on in Vienna is the same one that's in the film The Third Man, which some cinephiles will be like, oh, that's pretty
film
cool.
Snob.
Get fucked.
Did you know the Eiffel Tower and A View to a Kill is the same?
Oh my God.
It's in France. And they shot this other movie in France.
Paris. Apparently.
Paris, France. Oh,
yeah. An American in Paris. They shot that in Paris.